And this is another walk-on report, episode 7 here, Randall and Dom.
Yep.
We're our two, I guess we can say, we're the college football experts of the group. No offense to Thomas. Thomas is busy working a lot with college football of his own on Saturday, so he
That's true.
unfortunately doesn't get to see as much. And you sometimes work college football on Saturdays, a little security guard.
Work is a strong word for that one. So I get paid to guard a gate.
You're security. You're still security there. But we talk sports good, and this is probably going to be a pretty heavily dominated playoff committee discussion here, as obviously first week rankings, and they showed the graphic on the playoff committee's first reveal, and where the actual playoff team stood. You had like Ohio State, you had OU in the teens. Yeah. You had last year was actually the only one that had everyone in the top 10 in the original rankings. So I mean, obviously, to expect the top 4 teams that they put to stay the exact top 4 teams, that's not going to stand. But without a doubt, there's obviously controversy, and there's plenty of it as they were unveiling them.
Yeah.
5 picks by 5 picks until obviously the end. But I think we will just go straight into it, and we'll start with 11 through 25, since it's not the important part. I know you have a couple big things you want to say, and that's why I leave it as a big group. 11 through 25, those rankings right there. What are you upset about?
I mean, when you're looking at it, for the majority, I'm okay with it, except for when you hit UCF. How do you have 2-loss USC, 2-loss Mississippi State, 2-loss Iowa State, 2-loss Auburn ahead of an undefeated team? I get the strength of schedule. They're not in one of the big conferences that you think about, but still, I mean, they're undefeated, and you have 2-loss teams above them. It makes no sense to me. I mean, am I crazy on that, or
I mean, I understand that they can't be ranked like 8. They can't be ranked 9. I get that. If we're going to look at the whole, spectrum of, the rankings and how they do it and why they do it, I get they aren't a top 10 team right now. Do they have the potential to be? I think so. If they keep it up. The American Athletic Conference is obviously a not too shabby conference, and they've proven in the past that they can hang with someone. Their top team usually can hang with a good team outside. And I do agree. Like, if you look at it, 2-loss teams versus an undefeated team, that's where I think you can give UCF an edge.
Right.
A team that's lost 2 times, usually they've been exposed a couple times, maybe. Or maybe it is a couple tough losses. But I expected to see them at least 15.
Yeah, and how many 2-loss teams are they, like, at the very end? Let's say UCF goes undefeated till the end. And you still have a 2-loss USC, 2-loss Mississippi State, 2-loss Iowa State. Are they honestly going to be ranked above this undefeated team at the end of the season like that? Like, I feel like if you're going to rank them below these 2-loss teams now, wouldn't you rank them below them at the end of the season if they're still 2-loss teams? Yeah. So I just don't understand how they could be that low. I get them being under an Oklahoma State, Washington, Virginia Tech. I understand that. That's fine. But under 2-loss teams just makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I would put them 15. That's where I would, if I see, looking at it right now, I can make the argument for Auburn or Iowa State to be 14, and then whatever one I don't decide at 14 to be 16. If I look at it right now, UCF.
So you would split them?
I would split them just because, and I get Iowa State has Iowa and Texas losses, but honestly, those were early at the year, and what Iowa State has done right now, and I know it's, I guess, looking at them as the hot team right now, but what they've done right now, man, if that's 2 really good wins in a short span, that's not a fluke to do that. So that's why I would honestly lean Iowa State 14, and then UCF 15, Auburn right there at 16, because I respect what Auburn's schedule is. That's why I would still, those 2 would be the 2 I consider to put over UCF. But overall, I mean, Mississippi State, USC, no, not at all, especially with how the USC got blown out by Notre Dame. And that Washington State loss, I mean, I think doesn't I don't know. Washington State's kind of lost it on me a little bit. So, and Mississippi State, I just don't. They're just so inconsistent. I don't see how that's a team you would pick over an undefeated team.
Yeah, so I can get behind Iowa State being 15, and then I'm sorry, Iowa State being 14.
Yeah, they're 15 in the rankings.
Yeah, I can get behind Iowa State 14, and then UCF 7-0 at 15. But having Auburn up there, Auburn doesn't even have a signature win. I mean,
they just played a tough schedule. That's really what their sell is.
I guess they have a signature win in Mississippi State. I guess 49-10. That's a signature win. But other than that, their wins are Arkansas, Missouri, Ole Miss, and then two teams that are like not even Division I. Well, not Division I, but you know what I'm trying to say here. Yeah.
That's why I would put Iowa State. That's why I'm kind of surprised Iowa State wasn't above Auburn. I guess you just say their losses are good, but where's the wins then? That's why I would say like you said, Iowa State 14, UCF 15, Auburn 16, and that's where I get to where Mississippi State got blown out too. Like UCF and Mississippi State both have blowout losses. How are they better than an undefeated team?
Right, and I get too that UCF doesn't have a signature win either at this point. I would say probably their biggest win was probably Maryland 38-10 is probably that's a good win.
Yeah,
that's a good win, but just I can't. I'm fine with Iowa State being ahead of them, but Auburn, Mississippi State, and especially USC.
Yeah,
especially USC being ranked over them just blows my mind. And I got to be honest, LSU at 19 is a little head scratcher to me too, just because they're so inconsistent. But
yeah, this sounds weird. I would honestly put them over USC though.
LSU?
They are so inconsistent. Yeah, they're so inconsistent, but I don't trust USC either.
No. Yeah, I feel like the margins of their wins and their losses is kind of what kills them there, because USC, regardless of if they've won or lost, all of their games are close. It's rare that they've either been blown out or blow out someone. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think Washington State at 25 is a little. I think they could be a little bit higher up too, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of lost the love for Washington State right now. They pulled Falk. They pulled Falk. He looked terrible, and they pulled him. That scares me because that was their big sell.
Do you think they're better than LSU right now? I think they are. I would take them against LSU.
I don't know right now. Right now, I'm actually not going to. I know from the beginning I was like Washington State over Washington. I'm not even there anymore.
Okay.
That's
these next 3 weeks will be telling for them because they have Stanford in Washington, then at Utah, and then at Washington.
Yeah.
That'll be. I mean, if they can, I think pulling Falk. I think not playing Falk for any of those would be a mistake because he's had some bad games, but I still think he has to be the best quarterback they have.
Yeah,
he's got to be.
That's what just surprised me, the fact that how much you're trying to hype him into, and how much you're supposed to be improving his draft stock this year. That he gets pulled. That's not looking good overall for anyone. That's what scares me a bit. But Arizona, man, they're a sneaky team. I know we'll mention it later, but
at USC this week.
Yep, I think that's going to be huge, and obviously a shake-up there if they get a win.
Yeah.
But sneaky team to watch down up in the 20s. So we'll move into the top 10. We'll look at the back half, obviously, and where there's two big standouts. And right when number 10 popped up in Miami, I knew Wisconsin's going to be right there at 9, right there. I mean, I get it. I get they haven't won for Wisconsin. They have no one, and they are on the wrong side of the Big Ten to get the strength of the schedule.
Yeah. That's
but Wisconsin, I know you're not supposed to look at past, but at least Wisconsin has been a proven team. Yeah. That's where I would have expected them to be a bump up. Miami, I get Miami being 10, at least in the back half, because Miami, they pull out the wins. Hey, and that's what matters in the end. In the end, it matters if you win. But when you struggle versus a 1-6, now 1-7, I believe, UNC with a third string quarterback, that doesn't look good. The struggles versus Georgia Tech.
But the turnover chain, Dom. The turnover chain.
The turnover chain, though. Exactly. But this, I want Miami to be back. That's going to be fun. If Miami can be back, that is going to be so much fun. The ACC is a crazy conference right now, and we don't even have Florida State anywhere close to being good.
Right.
Florida State turns around. This conference is insane. This is the best conference. I still think is actually the best conference right now.
I mean, they very well might turn around next. Francois will be back next year, right?
Yeah,
it's not, his injury's not supposed to cut into next season too, is it? I mean, it was just a basic ACL tear, right?
Yeah.
If I'm remembering right.
Yeah, he'll be back next year. I'm just saying, like right now, still even without a good Florida State, I still think that, the ACC is dominant, and Miami will be this. The thing is with Miami, they don't have to have as much worries as Wisconsin, in my opinion. Wisconsin kind of just have to hope they win out and hope for the best. Miami, they're going to get proven fast. They got Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, ACC championship game. That's going to be your significant wins right there, and that will vault them up the rankings if they keep winning. So Miami at 10, fine. I get it, whatever. But they have a way better opportunity than Wisconsin, in my opinion, to jump.
Oh, I mean, if they beat Virginia Tech this week, I think you think they jump it? They have to jump in the top 6.
I think
at least.
The thing is, I don't know. I don't know if they'll jump in the top 6. I think if they beat Virginia Tech, maybe it does depend on it.
Yeah.
If they just
but if it's the next week against Notre Dame, then they're definitely in the top 4.
Oh yeah. If they win versus Virginia Tech, I think they can jump TCU at least.
Okay.
They beat Notre Dame. That's their 4. They have to be at least 4.
I don't know how Wisconsin is above Miami.
Yeah.
I don't get that because, yes, Wisconsin is undefeated, but their strength of schedule is nothing compared to Miami's. Wisconsin doesn't have. They might have like the easiest schedule in college football. USU, FAU, BYU, Northwestern, Nebraska, Purdue, Maryland, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota.
Yeah.
They haven't played a ranked team yet, and they won't. They're not going to play a ranked team all season. Well, was Nebraska ranked when they played them? No? Okay.
Nebraska lost to Northern Illinois.
That's right. Yeah. Nebraska's 3-3.
Michigan could sneak back into the rankings to play them.
Okay, yeah.
Because if Michigan wins their next 2 games, someone's going to fall out. I mean, Michigan State's playing Penn State this week. So there's a chance if Michigan State falls, and granted, I know the next 2 wins won't be great for Michigan, but they could jump into the top 25 and play Wisconsin.
And if Iowa would sneak in in the top 25 if they have OSU this week. So if Iowa beat OSU, then I'm sure they'd be in the top 25. Yeah.
See, that's the thing, though. Wisconsin's hope is other teams
winning against better teams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Wisconsin's hope right now. I know you play who you're scheduled, and the thing is their side of the conference is kind of screwed right now. That's what Nebraska was supposed to bring into that side, was a good historic team that could be a competition for Wisconsin, but that side of the Big Ten is kind of pathetic in a little bit, for the sense that for Wisconsin, they're like, hey, what am I supposed to do? These guys all suck.
You know what kind of baffles me too is the fact that Wisconsin's non-conference schedule is so bad, because when you're
last year.
Yeah, when you're a team scheduling non-conference teams, you schedule years in the future. Texas scheduled this USC. We play USC, I think, 3 times the next 3 seasons. We scheduled that when I was a sophomore in high school. That was like 6 or 7 years ago. That was when Russell Wilson was there. And so, when I meant Russell Wilson was like at Wisconsin when they were scheduling the teams that they're playing right now, is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
So, like, they were good then. You would think usually when a team is good, they schedule good teams in the future, expecting for them to keep being good so that they can. I mean, that's why Texas scheduled USC, because we had just gotten done with Colt McCoy. We thought we were going to be riding high with Garrett Gilbert, so we can take USC easy. We'll take them in 2020, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Like, that's fine. But the fact that they scheduled USU, FAU, like, kind of makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and they had that big game in Lambeau last year versus LSU. What was this supposed to just be like? Okay, we did our big one last year. We're good.
I mean,
especially as a Wisconsin team, they've been, like you said, they've been consistent.
And also, when you're playing teams like this, your school isn't making money off of the. Does University of Wisconsin not like money? Don't you want to play teams like LSU and Alabama and things like that in your non-conference schedule so you can make some money, and then you have a better chance at being an 8-0 team that's in the top 4? I mean, I don't know. To me, like, I get scheduling like crappy teams, like maybe 1 or 2 a season for your non-conference, but you have to have those big teams too. You can't just have a completely easy schedule, or this stuff is. If Wisconsin had beat a top 25 team at the beginning of the season, they might be in the top 6, 5, 6 right now.
They would be in the top 5, 6. I had no doubt. I would put them in the top 5, 6 if they had. You're like, okay, well, yeah, all the Big Ten's not that side isn't doing well, but Wisconsin did beat so and so.
Yeah, they beat Auburn at the beginning of the season, top 6. I mean. Beat Mississippi State, someone, Oklahoma State, anyone like that, they're in. And right now they're sitting there going, how are we going to get in with this schedule? Even I don't know if they make it if they go undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, if they go undefeated and beat, whoever comes down to the other side is their only hope. And I don't know, with how the playoff committee has set their precedent right now. Man, that's not going to be easy, at least.
I mean, yeah.
They need help then. It's not just win out and you're in for them. It's honestly win out and get some help, which is not the situation you want to be. You want to just be win out and you're in.
Yeah, believe it or not, they're in a worse situation than any of the Big 12 teams. Big 12 team has probably a one-loss Big 12 team has a better opportunity of making it to that playoff spot than probably an undefeated Wisconsin.
And honestly, right now, I say Big 12 needs to be saying thank you, Iowa State, because if Iowa State was the Iowa State of past, I think the Big 12's I think you see OU with Oklahoma State.
Also, thanks to, I mean, obviously people are going to be like, oh, you're a Texas fan. But Texas is strong, too. The Big 12 is pretty strong. I mean, Texas, all 4 of their losses is by a combined of 21 points. They're a strong team. Tech is a decently strong team. Iowa State's strong. K-State's not bad. Honestly, the only people that are bad is Baylor and Kansas, the 2 teams that you kind of expected to be bad. Yep. So the Big 12 is in a pretty good spot, honestly. Better than I thought they would be.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably the question coming in. But, I mean, when you got OU 5, Oklahoma State – or OU 5, TCU 8, Oklahoma State 11, that looks great. And then, there's Iowa State at 15 as well.
I can see the Big 12 dominating in their bowl games this year, dominating them.
There's a good chance for that. So we'll move into, I guess we'll go to the 5 through 8 since now Penn State, TCU. I think we both agree.
That's fine. In.
So we'll go to the fringe 5, 6. You all right with that then? OU has to be over Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
They have to be by letter of their law. OU has to be over Ohio State. Yeah. That is what they said.
Speaking of letter of the law, let me. I've pulled up the official selection committee protocol. First off, let me just read their mission statement. The mission statement of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee is the committee's task will be to select the best teams, rank the teams for inclusion in the playoff, and selected other bowl games, and then assign the teams to sites. So here is the list of basically what they're going to go by. And it doesn't say this is in order of how they go by, but I feel like it kind of is. So the first thing is conference championships wins. I mean, that'll be what they go by at the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll see. Since the last year apparently doesn't matter.
The very next thing is strength of schedule. Wisconsin. And then head-to-head competition. So Oklahoma over Ohio State.
And then Ohio State over Penn State.
Yep. And then comparative outcomes of common opponents. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That one.
That's difficult.
That is difficult.
Because, that's completely different. But then this last, I find this last one pretty. I like this last one because I feel like the BCS definitely didn't take this into consideration. Other relevant factors such as key injuries that may have affected a team's performance during the season or likely will affect its postseason performance. If Oklahoma's going to make it and Baker Mayfield tears their ACL in the championship, Big 12 championship, they shouldn't be in. What they're saying. Because, no way OU. Well, I don't know. Maybe Kyler Murray, maybe.
Kyler Murray, who knows, yeah.
But I mean,
it's a consideration.
It's a consideration is what it's saying. So I think it's just, that's just an interesting thing to see exactly what their what their protocol is for that.
That is you want to see what's, I guess, going on in the minds. And I heard they kept talking, this was obviously a very heated discussion. And honestly, the biggest thing is obviously, I think, the 4 spot. Because Penn State, I'm sorry, Penn State, you have to be 7. By the order of their law, Penn State, you are 7 because OU has to be over Ohio State and Ohio State has to be over Penn State. But so that's the interesting part with Clemson, because Clemson has the wins versus Auburn, versus Louisville. I know is, but at the time it was big. Virginia Tech, but that stretch they had was obviously historical at the time. Which looking back now, looking back now, they beat 13-14 though.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville, if you want to take consideration, they still had the Heisman winner on them. But so I mean, I get Clemson 4. I still think, in my opinion, they will make the playoffs. But
do you think if Clemson wins out and OU wins out, I flip OU and Clemson. I think OU's better than Clemson. Yeah, I think the strength of schedule is better. I just think that they're.
I would have to. I guess I would have to see the types of wins.
Okay.
Because I would have to see it Clemson, with how they play the championship game, whoever it is. NC State will be interesting because Notre Dame just whooped them pretty much. So are you going to whoop them as well? I know it's at NC State. There's a little different situation, but I think they have to be NC State by at least 2 touchdowns. And then especially whoever comes out, I think it will depend on who comes out of the ACC. If it's an undefeated Miami team, then I think that will be huge for them. If it's Virginia Tech again, I don't know. I don't know if beating Virginia Tech twice would be as impressive then for me.
Just based on strength of schedule, who do you think has a hard schedule? Clemson, Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma played Ohio State.
Yeah, they did.
Non-conference. Then they have to go through the Big 12. Texas, Tech, Oklahoma State, TCU, West Virginia. All teams that have been in the top 25 at some point during the season.
Yeah.
And then Clemson, you have Clemson playing Auburn, Louisville, which I don't know about Louisville.
Yeah.
VT, North Carolina State, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. It's tough because I am talking, I think ACC is the top conference. So with that, I kind of have to go with.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like I can make an argument for the Big 12 being the top conference.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's can be argued right now. If you look top to, I mean, when you're counting the bottom of the barrel of the Big 12, it is really the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then you always obviously can't count out the SEC. You just can't count them out.
Definitely not. I don't know. I mean, as of now, I still will stick with Clemson, but I do think it's going to depend on how they play versus some of these upcoming opponents, because OU's going to have. I don't think OU just needs to win with their schedule, and having the Big Ten championship game definitely a big win opportunity for them. I think would be. Actually, now at first I was back and forth. At this point, as long as they win out, they're fine. I don't think I know this sounds weird. I don't think it matters as much how they play as much as Clemson, because Clemson does have some of those common opponents. They're going to be playing, the with NC State. Well, there's your common opponent with Notre Dame. You're going to have a common opponent, I guess, you can still say Florida State with Bama. If Miami wins, well, I guess it's hard to say with Miami. Well, if Miami loses Notre Dame, they can still obviously make the ACC championship game because that's not a conference loss. So right. Say they lose the Notre Dame, beats Miami, but Miami still makes the ACC championship game. Well, there's a big common opponent. That could be maybe a difference between Notre Dame, Clemson for a spot. If OU looks great, OU could jump Notre Dame, and maybe Notre Dame and Clemson's battling for that 4. So I think that might honestly, in the end, I think Notre Dame and Clemson could be the battle for a spot.
But you also have to throw in Alabama or Georgia. One of them is going to get a loss.
Oh my gosh!
One of them is going to get a loss,
and that's where I think that we'll just go to right there. The fact that they stayed in Georgia is the fact that they put Georgia 1. I mean, I guess they're following what they claim, but they are setting a precedent that they both can make it, in my opinion. I think putting that right there, they are saying that they both make it. What if Georgia?
I'm not gonna lie. Strength of schedule, Georgia definitely has Alabama.
Yeah, they definitely do. That's for sure.
Because the big opponent that was supposed to be for them at the beginning of the season was Florida State.
Yeah.
And Francois out, tears his ACL in what, the first?
It was the second half, I believe.
Was it the second half?
Yeah, it was second half.
But still.
It was late in the game, actually. Yeah, it was late in the game.
Yeah, but still, I mean, now that win looks...
No, yeah, it's not.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
But then Georgia, Georgia played Notre Dame and won at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They beat Mississippi State. They beat, I was going to say beat Florida, 42-7.
Oh, they beat them. But, they got the coach fired.
Florida was ranked a few times. I think twice throughout the season. Then they still have at Auburn and at the ferocious triple option, Georgia Tech.
Yeah. But look, this is what I'm saying, though, because they said this. Georgia, okay, so if Notre Dame wins out, Bama just beats Georgia, they both have to be in. They both have to be in. Because if you're saying Notre Dame's in, then you're saying Georgia has to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then guess what? They were talking about it, that situation. What if that situation happens? That means you have the ACC, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the Big 10 for one spot.
Well, okay, so if Georgia wins out, they play Bama in the SEC championship, but they get blown out. I'm talking 50-0 blown out of the water, done. Pull their quarterback, fourth quarter, because they don't want to get hurt, blown out. I think do you bump them out?
I bump them out. I have to. If the other teams right there on the fringe keep playing to how they are, because then you have to, because you can't be like, well, conference champion OU. Sorry, but I still think Georgia gets a rematch with Bama in a semifinal.
Yeah, and what the fun thing is we're talking all this one-loss teams getting the third and fourth spot. UCF for the win, baby. UCF for the win. Man. All about the U also. I want that. Oh, my gosh. You know what I would love more than anything? Alabama gets a loss, and then they beat Georgia in the SEC championship. No undefeated teams except for UCF, and you have to put them in there. They are number 1, dang it. They're number 1. UCF for the championship.
Milton for Heisman.
Oh, man, I wish so bad that USF would have won so that we could have had the USF showdown game day there. It's big time. It has to be there.
Oh, man. UCF. Come on. Oh, man. That's what this first ranking always gets everyone riled up. But, I mean, it's going to change a lot. It's going to change a lot. So, I don't. Oh man, I just saw it and I was already just, nope, definitely going to go on a rant for that one. But man,
well, we
hey,
spent like almost a full hour on it.
we started a little late.
That's true. We did start.
I think we're only at like 30-something minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Fair. All right. So with that, we'll move into quick hitters and our rundown of the week. Some top notes that we just kind of mentioned. And we'll start it off with, obviously, the big game. Ohio State just somehow does it. This is what I was talking. I know you called it.
Been calling it since week one.
Been calling it since week one. So props to Randall on that one. And this is what I meant by when I keep putting Ohio State in my top 4.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, because they just do stuff like this that I'm just like, dang it. I don't like them, obviously. But then they just win these games and then it helps them so much.
Yeah. And everyone's been seeing me say Penn State loses at Ohio State, and then I call them in the playoffs. And let me tell you why. They lose to Michigan State. Ohio State's going to lose to Michigan State. Calling it now. That's been the plan. I've been looking at their schedule the whole time, and every time I see it, I say they're going to beat Penn State, and then 2 weeks later, they're going to lose to Michigan State.
But then they have to lose to someone else then. Who is it? Because if they both have one conference loss, Ohio State gets the advantage in the Big Ten championship, or to make it to the Big Ten. Yeah, head-to-head, if they both only have one loss.
No. That would be Ohio State's second loss.
Yeah, but that's not a conference loss.
Does that matter?
Yep. It's only conference record decides who goes to the conference championship.
Interesting. This puts a fork in my plan. I'll have to reassess and come back next week.
Okay, well, we'll reassess and we'll see on that one. So we'll go to point 2. Michigan, thank you. Finally putting Peters in the game. This is what I mean. This is the team you put them in. It's Rutgers. You're going to beat them. You can run all over them. They did. He didn't have to do a lot. Like I said, I believe it was 10 for 14. Now he gets Minnesota.
They should have put him in 2 weeks ago.
Oh, gosh. I get not wanting to put him in versus like Penn State or something, but now
he has the week before or a week after.
That's true. Indiana, that's true. But okay, finally. So now he gets Minnesota. He gets Maryland. Figure out what you have in them because you got you got Wisconsin and Ohio State coming up, and O'Korn was not going to do it versus those two teams. So you got to hope the potential of him is going to do it. Move on to, I know we mentioned just a quick, NC State. Man, so much high hopes, and they just got run all over.
We both want Notre Dame to lose so bad. So bad.
It was Ohio State, Notre Dame, right there. If they both make the playoffs, I will be rooting so hard for that. Probably Bama will be in there too, so I'll be rooting so hard for whatever that other team is.
You know who you need to be rooting for then if you want Notre Dame out?
And I'm really hoping Bryce. You know what? I also think Navy and their triple option gives Notre Dame a little bit.
Ooh, I've got you on the triple option bandwagon, baby. He's even playing it on NCAA Football 12. Yep.
I'm offensive coordinator at Navy right now. I'm running that triple option. I'm trying to get a head coach, and I'm going to take the triple option big time, baby.
Take it to the national
Power 5 champion or Power 5 team, and I'm going to take them to the championship.
Hey, man, back in the day, that was the thing. Everyone ran the triple option. Bring it back.
Yeah, I'm saying it's different. It's different. It's very rare. It's hard to prepare for. So move on to a whooping of a game. BC, baby. Doug Flutie starting for those Eagles.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Florida State. Oh, they're not making a bowl, babe.
That's what happens when your star quarterback is out.
And their number 2 got hurt too.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be fun to see Francois next season because coming into the season, I actually thought Francois was going to win the Heisman. I had him as my Heisman pick.
I had him as my dark horse guy.
Yeah, and
that didn't last very long.
So it'll be interesting. This is his sophomore year. Is there any way that he thinks he can leave?
No,
with a torn ACL?
No,
I don't think he's an NFL caliber quarterback. Regardless,
I don't think anyone has the interest in him. So he's gonna have to really prove it then, and he's gonna have to stay as long as he can to prove it.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I think that the NFL should have the same policy as the NBA, where NBA players who leave early, if they go through, they basically go through the combine, and when they talk to teams, if teams give them the idea that they don't have interest in them, then they can come back to college. I think the NFL should and NCAA should work on that and do that same NFL or NCAA football. But that's just me.
No, that's a good thing. It's too many underclassmen you see undrafted free agents, and you're just thinking,
and it ruins them.
It's not good to see. But yeah, no, I agree. There's definitely something you can do to work on it. NCAA, NFL, get to it. Next up, Iowa State, like I mentioned, they have 2 big wins now. And TCU, you don't have to apologize for TCU anymore. How's that feel?
Don't. Oh, thank God. Kenny Hill is not as good as everyone thinks he is. He's not that good. It's not that good.
But props to both defenses.
Yeah, 14-7 in the Big 12. What is this, Kansas Baylor? Just throw that out there.
But I mean, hey, I know Patterson's always a defensive guy, but that's long-term success right there. Is you can build a defense in a power offense conference, and that's what Iowa State, man, they're doing this with a 3rd-string quarterback.
It's what Texas is trying to do right now, trying to build the defense, work on the running game.
It looks good right now. Yeah. So move on to the exact opposite of a game. OK State wins 50-39 versus West Virginia, keeping their hopes alive. That loss versus TCU. But, yeah, Greer did not look great. I watched a good chunk of that game. First half was rough for him.
Yeah.
But, hey, West Virginia's still a team that's going to give everyone trouble, though.
Yeah. I look forward to that game for Texas because I think that's one that's very winnable for us.
So move to Texas. What do you take away from a Baylor win?
I'm not even going to comment on the Texas play because obviously we should have won that game. I want to be focused on how much Baylor has fallen. What are they? 0-7 or 0-6? 0-8?
7. I believe 7. All right, they just haven't won a game.
Yeah, wow. I know they lost recruits from this whole thing. I get that. But did they lose that many recruits and that many players to make them over? Wow. That is awful, man. It is really awful. And they can't even decide on a quarterback. They played I know they played 2. They might have played 3 quarterbacks against Texas.
It's a rotation. It's a complete rotation at this point.
It is rough. I'll be rooting for them against Kansas because I don't want them to go over. But I don't know if they can beat Kansas. I don't know if they can.
Man. I'll just leave that there. Move on to just a quick pointer. Ole Miss had a 31-7 lead in the second quarter. Arkansas won 38-37. What? I feel like I was like, when I saw this, I saw this the 2 days after. I didn't even realize. I thought Ole Miss won. I didn't see this anywhere. I was like, wait, ESPN. Wait, are we not going to talk about a team losing a 31-7 lead? Are we not mentioning that at all? Yikes.
I guess not. Sweep it under the rug, boys.
Yeah.
Smile and wave.
And by the way, I want to comment on the quarterback for Arkansas. Let me make sure I get this right. This dude is a D lineman, basically. He is 6'7", 268. That's what he's listed as.
6'7", 268 as a quarterback.
What?
That's a massive tight end. That's a huge tight end,
and he
plays quarterback.
This guy is bigger than me.
That is a solid Pro Bowl 4-3 defensive end in the NFL. That's what that is.
Oh man, we got Ryan Mallett Jr. here apparently.
God, he's bigger than Ryan Mallett.
Ryan Mallett Jr. ate Ryan Mallett Sr.
Seriously, wow. That's incredible. That's impressive is what that is.
Oh, man. The next point. I'm sorry, Washington. I called you out last week. I apologize. You won.
No, you didn't call them out last week. You called them out every week.
I call them out every week, but I was saying UCLA was going to – Rosen was going to throttle them, all that. They won 44-23. They won. Fair enough. and pretty well. I do want to point out, because I can't say anything positive about Washington without a negative. Your stud quarterback went 8 for 11 for 98 yards and an interception.
That was going to be the point that I was going to follow up just to get you riled up, because I was going to say,
you as a playoff team and your stud quarterback.
I just want to rile you up real quick. One question.
Come on. All right.
Washington beats UCLA.
Yeah.
Browning, better quarterback than Rosen.
Browning is going to be a 7th rounder if he's lucky.
Oh, Jets. What if Rosen gets picked for the Jets and then Browning gets picked too? They will have Bryce Petty, Hackenberg. They'll probably still have
battle.
They'll probably still have McCown under contract.
Man, I want to see that I want to see their preseason games then, man.
Hey, we'll buy tickets and we'll fly out to New York and go watch their preseason.
I want to see I want to see that QB battle.
Yikes!
Just saying. All right. Next point. The hottest team, I think, in the Pac-12, Arizona, 58-37 win versus Wazoo, and Washington State. We've already talked about. Arizona, though, look, I know I've obviously mentioned my dislike for Rich Rod.
Yep.
There is situational, though. I know it's just similar to Charlie Strong. For one, Rich Rod did not fit at Michigan. That was just, I can't even put all the blame on him. He should have never been considered for hire. One.
I think you dislike Rich Rod more than I dislike Charlie Strong. I don't dislike Charlie Strong. I just want him to lose to make Texas look good. I have nothing against him personally. I actually kind of wanted him to stay for another season.
Oh, I wanted Rich Rod right out of there.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Rich Rod needed to be gone.
Yeah, that was a terrible hire to begin with. Let's just put that out there. It was the worst hire Michigan could have brought in. The recruits they had from Lloyd Carr set up for the next guy, and then they're just going to be like, oh, yeah, that recruiting class? We're going to bring in Rich Rod, and we're running Tate Forcier in the spread offense in the Big Ten. Oh, Ryan Mallett was redshirting that year. They had Ryan Mallett set up to just go into a nice power eye, throw it deep offense. And we just said, nope, see ya. Man, yeah, that's where my thing is. And somewhere else he can succeed in, Pac-12 probably is maybe the place. And Arizona, he got the quarterback to save his job. Let's say that, though. He got the quarterback that saved his job.
I'm so happy that I've gotten you riled up this episode. It makes me happy because you're usually pretty calm, and I've gotten you flustered, to say the least, about Rich Rod.
Look, it's gone away a lot more. It could have been worse. Trust me. It was a lot worse. No, I was a lot worse about him. Now I really don't. It's gone away. We have made the better direction at Michigan. But I don't care if he's successful somewhere else. His offense is entertaining to watch. It just wasn't at Michigan. It wasn't supposed to be at Michigan.
Whew.
I'll get you riled up then for my remaining point. UCF. Take them down. Beat them down, Austin Perry. Whatever you are. Destroy them, UCF. Show them what's up. And then USF blowing the perfect end-of-year matchup for those two.
I'm so upset. As much as I've also said, obviously I just said, I want Charlie Strong to do bad to make Texas look good. But at this point, he's already made us look stupid. I mean, he hadn't really made us look stupid because he is in a crappy division, and Texas looks good this year.
He inherited a pretty good team, though.
He did.
Because Tackett made that team good enough to get him the Oregon job.
Yeah, and also anyone who says thank God that Charlie Strong left and Tom Herman's in there, I just want you to also realize that this isn't Tom Herman's team that's playing out there right now. This is Charlie Strong's team. Every player on there was recruited by Charlie Strong. This is Charlie Strong's team. It won't be Tom Herman's actual team of his recruited players until 2 years from now, when the dudes that he recruited are going to be like sophomores and juniors. That's when, so anyone who is like, oh, thank God Tom Herman came in and Charlie Strong's out, thank Charlie Strong for a little bit of this team too, because he got those players in there.
Yeah, there's good pieces there. And if Texas is going to contend next year or two, it's going to be behind a good chunk of Charlie Strong guys.
If they won the national championship next year, you have to thank Charlie Strong just as much as you have to thank Tom Herman.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying we're going to win the national championship.
No, but it takes something to get them there. Now, granted, to get what their talent is out of them, yes, then you can thank Herman for that.
Thomas Herman.
But the guys that are there right now, that Texas fans, like you said, are like, yeah, ones right now, yeah, these guys are awesome. Yeah, these guys are, like you said, Charlie Strong guys. So,
all of them.
Yep. So, interesting. So, we'll move on to pick'ems because we have killed a lot of time, like I thought. But I think we're still doing pretty good on time. I think we'll be doing good on time overall.
Yeah,
this was a big week, but there's a lot of really good games, people, this week. So, tune in. Started off with the great one, Baylor at Kansas.
I gotta go with Baylor. Please, Baylor, don't. This is your last chance. You're not gonna beat Tech, and you're not. I think they have Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Ooh. No, they gave Oklahoma the good run. Remember?
That's right. Who they have? Oklahoma State and TCU, maybe.
Yep, TCU's the end of the year.
This is your only hope. Please win. Please beat Kansas. Do not go over. If you go over, you may never come back. Your program might be dead for the rest of time.
Yeah. I will
win this game.
I am on the same side as you, Baylor, and for the same reasons. So, move on to one of our plenty of ranked games. Penn State travels to Michigan State. You said Michigan State gives Ohio State trouble. Do they give Penn State trouble?
Nope. Penn State's pissed. They're going to knock the piss out of them.
Yeah, Michigan State struggled with Northwestern in overtimes. So, Penn State. Next up, a 6-2 South Carolina team at Georgia. Trap game? No, okay. Georgia as well. I had to throw it in there.
I'm not behind that saying either, by the way, because I think Thomas is using it wrong. Just saying.
Yes. This is the proper situation. Georgia's high.
What you just said is the proper way of saying trap game.
This is a trap game. All right, next up, Iowa State. Pulling off some good wins. They traveled to West Virginia, the Fighting Greers.
That one's actually kind of tough for me because I want to pick West Virginia, but I don't think West Virginia is built to beat an Iowa State type team because to me, Iowa State's kind of built like Texas too, where we want to focus on, even though Texas can't run the ball that well right now, we want to focus on run and they have a pretty good defense. And I don't think West Virginia is built to beat that. I'm going to go Iowa State.
Yeah, I'm actually going Iowa State as well. I feel like it can be they're going to lower West Virginia down to these lower defensive game, and that's going to be I think Iowa State can play it in their favor.
Another 14-7 win.
I think they can play it in their favor. Next up, I mean, I don't think the upset will happen here. I'm already saying my pick. But a 5-3 Wake Forest team is going to Notre Dame.
No, not yet. Notre Dame doesn't fall yet.
All right. Next up, a ranked matchup in the 20s. Stanford. Hopefully Bryce Love's back. He missed last game. That made me very sad.
Heard his husband.
Yep. Goes to Washington State. This was Washington State's first opportunity for game day to be there, and they blew it and lost last week.
I'm going to pick Washington State. And I think Falk has a big-time comeback game here.
Okay.
Because it was last week he got benched, right?
Yes.
That was last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's being ticked, and I think he'll come back big time this week.
Bryce Love comes back strong. Stanford.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
Next up, Clemson travels to NC State. 4 versus 20.
I'm gonna stick with Clemson.
I'm going Clemson as well.
I really want to pick NC State, but
yeah, I can't pick NC State after last week.
Yeah.
Next up, Texas at TCU. I was looking at tickets. They are way too expensive. Not going.
He texted us in the middle of the week. Hey, you guys want to go to the TCU Texas game? And then literally 30 seconds later, nope, I'm sitting on my couch and watching it. None of us can afford that.
Nosebleeds.
Yeah, none of us can afford that. Hook 'em. I told y'all week 1 I will never pick against them. Boo. Boo.
TCU. I'm wearing my Alamo Bowl TCU Oregon game shirt. Actually, this was the second greatest game I've been to.
I bet that was a good game. Yeah,
the triple over or whatever greatest comeback from halftime ever.
There you go.
Backup quarterback because Boykin's out there punching people. Anyways, next up, 13. Virginia Tech goes to the U, number 10. I think we're both the U. Sweep them.
It's all about the U.
Oh, that's gonna be it. This is a big game right there for them, obviously.
Yeah, that's a really big game.
Next up, this is always an exciting and huge game, and honestly, I think will be very close, extremely close. Number 19, LSU travels to number 2. It's weird saying that. Bama. No.
30-point victory for Bama.
You know what? In honor,
don't you dare pick LSU.
In honor of Cody, LSU. Coach, I'm going to rile up for victory. I can't even do it. I can't do it.
The show is going off the rails. We need to pick quick.
I can't do a Coach O. I'm sorry, everyone. Number 22, Arizona at 17, USC. I got Arizona.
Arizona.
Ooh. And the big one, game day is there. Number 5, OU travels to Bedlam, Oklahoma State.
We settle this right now because Oklahoma State ends the chances for OU to be in the college football playoffs.
Ooh. I'm going OU, actually.
It'll be a fun.
Something about Baker this year. Not that there wasn't anything in the past. I think he's got a special touch right now that is just getting them over every game, and I think that'll help him out for the rest of the year.
I despise that man. But that being said, if he wants to come be the backup quarterback for the Saints until Drew Brees is done, I'd be fine with that.
Baker Mayfield, come on the show. Calling you out. You can call Randall out. You can say, who's your daddy to Randall? Let's go.
He would destroy me in a fight. I would never.
With that, this is the walk-on report, episode 7. A lot of playoff committee talk, and I'm sure next week, especially with that slate of games, next week is going to be. I think we're gonna have to start doing Tuesday shows for college football now.
Yeah, so we can go in a full hour.
Because we're going to get riled up on this, I feel like, and we can't do it before it.
And I feel like Thomas isn't. Thomas doesn't get riled up about this one as much as we do.
No.
Maybe we'll bring in another college football expert.
Well, see, that's what I was gonna. Yeah. I'll let everyone know. I was gonna bring in my friend Cody Johnson. He is a huge college football, and he's a huge LSU fan that I was talking about. But he usually works on Saturday at AT&T, and they get the top packages over there, and they have a TV on, and he watches every single college football game. He watches more college football than me because he has every channel.
He definitely watches more than me. Yeah.
So he has every channel. So he watches games that I didn't even have a chance to see. So that's why I was going to have him on yesterday. But
yeah, we'll try to get him next week.
Yeah, we'll try to get him next week, and that'll be a fun, riled up discussion. Especially if LSU, either way, we can get him pissed off. Or excited. Excited. So I'll say that. So with that, I'll close with follow us on Twitter. Almost messed up. Like us on Facebook. There we go. Add us on Snapchat. Send us questions. Give us feedback.
Subscribe
on YouTube. Leave comments. especially like our quick hitter game notes. If there's a game that you want us to at least mention, just, hey, can you mention Florida Atlantic? We'll mention Florida Atlantic. At least mention them and their score. We'll give them the shout out. If you
mention
want
a D3 game, we'll cover
yeah,
D3.
Dude, we've seen that. That was my number. I said this was the second best game I went to. UMHB winning the national championship was the best game I've ever been to. Just throwing that out there. Go Crew. But yeah, just throw out questions. If you want to get us, if you have a question you want to try to rile us up, put a question out there that riles us up.
We get riled up easy. Bring it.
Yeah, not a hard thing to do. So with that said, do all those things, and I will play us out with our nice music.